Wealth building seminar.
You said wealth or health?
Wealth.
Okay, just let me know, because sometimes shit be, fucked up.
Wealth building seminar Atlanta.
Yeah. Sometimes I put one thing and then it turns into a whole nother thing. I'll be like, oh Lord, that's not what I typed. I will be available after 4 p.m. Thank you. What you got going on? I already signed on. You got me live already?
Yeah. I thought you were going to restart it.
No, I'm gonna go and I'm live already. Hold on one second. Just jump out of the studio. Don't end it. I didn't even get things set up yet. It's okay. You can have it faced the other way. It's still on. Go ahead. Just have it faced the other way. Oh, put the commercial on. No, go to media, and then once the commercial, this is the commercial. The top one is the commercial, so you can press that.
The real estate market often seems like a distant world where only an elite of experts is successful. In a time of so much uncertainty in the air and bad news, realist investing can seem intimidating. But today, I want to tell you that if you make the right decision today, you can enter the real estate market from the back door. Bad credit record? No credit at all? Do you dread the idea of having a home loan? Do you dream of owning investment properties? You are in the right place and right time, because we have created a program which is a tax lien and deed investment online course of only 14 hours. This course is specially designed for people like you who have big dreams. You will learn at your own pace and everything from your home computer. This is your chance. Join our membership for $19.99 a year. What are you waiting for? Visit our website primetimehomebuyerBuyback.org and sign up today for course access.
When you get a course, just tell me when to get started. I think last time you got a course.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you got to take it. What if they did close enough that they could see? God. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Secure Your Energy. Thank you for the cheers. Secure Your Energy, you're here with your host, Lady Lashley. We're still getting things set up, but we do apologize for the delay. That's not gonna start the cake too. Baby, I gotta cut all this out. And they can't see me.
I'm fixing it.
Oh. You should have using this. This is so far. It's like you can't even see me. You can't see my facial features or anything. It's too far.
What are you trying to see?
Everything, this, my facial features, the least, it's just like way back in the corner. Which way would be? Yeah. I can't control this. This don't have a clicker, so I can't walk away and like just click. Like I can't be on the side. All right. Hopefully they can hear me. Hey, how are you? Doing good. One day to make it better. That's it. Thank you. I think I gotta do something with this. Something gotta give. This is not close enough. Something gotta give. It's just so far. Just to get me from that. I think this one is better. It's a little bit closer. Like, you see? All right. We still just working on some things, guys, but thank you so much. Thank you so much. We're about to get the presentation started. Is it 2:00 yet? Okay. We'll be starting the presentation at 2:00 on the dot. Thank you so much for being with us today. You're here with Lady Lashley. I am a tax lien and deed investor, and I'm also a legal researcher. Okay, I specialize in real estate as well as healthcare disparities. That's where I get my foundation. So what we're doing for the next couple of weeks, at every Wednesday at 2 p.m., we'll be holding a live session down here in the Adams Park, Fulton County Library, where we'll be talking about economic development. Today we're on part 2 series, and we're talking about stretching every dollar, budgeting and savings tips for control/low-income household. Now, I don't want to commit to the low-income household, okay? Once you put a title on something, you commit to it, that is a description. We are not products of low-income households. We are products of a controlled budgetary household. We're gonna have to learn how to regroup and re-enter this new continuum they call an economy that may be crashing. Let's go, all right? So we're gonna start off, these are the topics for today. It is budget and savings tips for controlled income households. The foundations of understanding your income and expenses, some of the things we visited last week, but we're gonna get into it. Building and budgeting that works. Identifying areas to cut back, and that's financially. Strategies for saving money. Addressing debt. We gotta do this realistically, holistically. We have to know exactly what situation we're in so we can address it. There's no sugarcoating it today, okay? And seeking assistance when needed. One thing I will say that if you're dealing with pride will get you homeless, okay? If you're in a situation where you're in a bind, and you have bills to pay and you have resources around you, don't be afraid to utilize them. Where I'm from in Jersey, they have a lot of resources where you can get rental assistance, you can get electricity assistance, sometimes you can get food vouchers. These are temporary assistance that help you. Don't be afraid or ashamed to use it, because that can be the medium that help you save your property, save your assets until you get back on your feet, okay? So I really want to normalize using the resources that we have in our community, because it's actually our tax dollars that pays for it. So the first topic, the foundation, understanding your income and expenses. Before you can start saving, as you see, before you can start saving, you need to clear the picture. You need a clear picture of where your money is coming from and where it's going. This is where budgeting begins. Where's your money coming from and where is it going? Is it steady income or is it fractional income? Is it sometimes seasonal? This is what we need to figure out. And what is our base spending? Base spending is where you live, where you eat, where you watch. And then because we have other things that are pretty much social norm, like car payments, car insurance, health insurance, these are base spending that you will always have to have in your budgetary approach. So that's what we start with our needs. Tracking every penny for at least a month, meticulously record every single dollar you spend. Use a notebook, a spreadsheet, or a budget app like Mint, Personal Capital, or even simple notepad app on your phone. Don't forget small expenses like daily coffees or unexpected parking fees. Yes, you want to meticulously see where you spend. As I mentioned before in the last week live, you can save. I know people who saved over like $200 because they got control of their coffee spending. They used to go to Starbucks every day, every morning, and them saving the $4.99 on a latte times 5 days a week. That's $25 times four weeks. That's $200 of savings that can go to somewhere else. Just simple things like that. Categorize your spending. Once you have tracked your spending, group similar expenses into categories like your household expenses, transportation. Those are things you keep in mind. Like we said, car insurance, car payment, if you use the public transportation, food, utilities, your debt payment. These are your base spending that you need to know about. Entertainment, that's a give or take. Personal care, that's something that's very important. I think that we should have at least one outlet where we do something for ourselves, but with moderations, okay? Next step, calculate your net income. Determine your total income after taxes, okay, and deductions. This is the amount of money you actually have to spend. People like, I will get $70,000 monthly, yearly income. You don't take $70,000 home. You probably take about 50, 54, or 56, depending on the taxes. So you have to budget based on that. People buy homes, say my mortgage is $300,000, I make $70,000 a year. I'll be able to break that down in 3-4 years. Not even calculating all of their other income and realistically what they have to spend. But this is some of the thinking. This is some of the, how can I say, I call it delusional thinking, or I call it how distorted thinking. Okay? It is, we have a form of distorted thinking about our finance that we have to correct. So, calculate your net income. That consists of the income. This is an example. You have an income of $1,800 a month. This is your net after taxes. You have your base spending. That is rent, utilities, food, transportation. If that includes, I wish transportation was $100, but car insurance and car payments, that's at least $500, if you got good credit. And miscellaneous. You always want to put a buffer to the side when it comes to something possibly happening. You want to plan for a rainy day and or taxes. Dun, 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 dun. So this is kind of like an example of your monthly income and some base expenses that may, add up to how much you make every month. Now, building a budget that works. So now you got an idea of how much you make, what's your base spending. As what we said, keep the entertainment to a minimum. Because when you're on a path of strategically saving and budgeting, you have to make sacrifice. You can't go out every weekend. You can't get the hot girl shoes. You may be running them shoes for 3 months, 4 months. Get some comfortable ones and crush it. Especially when you have a goal. Especially when you have a plan. If you're trying to invest in real estate. If you're trying to invest in your business. People have businesses where they need to buy inventory. These are the strategic mindset you need to have so you can implement your plan. So this is why we're talking about it. So building a budget that works. So these are a few examples of how to approach budgeting. One of the examples is the 50-30-20 rule. Modified. What does that mean, guys? 50-30-20 rule. The rule suggests allocating 50% of your income to needs, 30 to wants, and I go a little bit lower. I'll say 10 to wants, but this is the rule, the 50-30-20 rule, and 20% to savings, and that's biblical. That's what it says in the Bible. You're supposed to tie 20%. It don't have to be into a church. It could be into savings or whatever. 20%. This is a biblical practice, okay? So you want to save 20% and for savings and debt repayment. So if you have a big debt, your original 50% is going to those bills already. Your credit card bills is incorporated in that, but you should have a buffer of 20%. Now you can make an extra payment to the principal instead of using that just to save or just to, do something fun. All right. For low-income housing, this might need adjustments. Focus on covering your needs first. Minimize the wants and allocate whatever is left over to debt and savings. It may seem hard at first, but if you do this and get on a strict strategic saving plans for 2 years, you will see how beneficial that's for you for the next 10 years of your life. There are people who were able to save and really crunch for 2 years, and then they were able to buy property and land and cultivate it and make it a farm, put another property on it. Is because you took that sacrifice. Okay, so just know sacrifice and works do come with something good in the end. Okay, so the next approach is zero-based budgeting. What does that mean? This method involves allocating every dollar of your income to a specified category. So your total income minus your total expenses equals zero. That's allocating every single dollar to what you need done. If you got bills that need to be paid and broke down, student loan, that 20%, all of it is going to that. Every single dollar. Now, I don't totally like this method because this doesn't put in a category for savings. And it's really hard for us to save. And that's one of the things that we really want to stress to you, that you have to save. It's hard, but 10%, 5%, $5, a penny jar, a change jar, start somewhere and it will get you somewhere. Start with your pennies, okay? So the zero-based method, this method involves allocating every dollar of your income to a specified category. So your total income minus your total expenses equals zero. This forces you to be intentional with every dollar. That's what we want you to do, be intentional with every dollar and be mindful. Start by covering necessities like rent, food, then allocate the remaining funds to the other category. You have to take care of your living expenses first, period. I already said when I moved out of my mother's house, my first thing I pay is my mortgage. Then it comes the light bill. Or no, then it comes the water bill, then the light bill, because the water bill put a lien on you, just like the mortgage or your rent. Very, very important, okay? And then food. That's how I categorize it because that's my order of importance. But you have to know what is important. But I do think having a roof over your head and clean water is very, very important, okay, in life. The next method this is for us. The farmers know what this is. Put it under your mattress, baby. Envelope method. It is more hands-on approach. where you allocate cash to different envelopes labeled with your expense category. Example, groceries, gas, entertainment. Once the money is in the envelope, it's gone, you can't spend any more out on that category. And you should have that allocated. So if you have an envelope for expenses, for vacation, that's all you can spend. Don't go on vacation with your credit card. I'm not saying, well, you know what I'm saying. Yeah. Just have enough in that particular bank account that you're going to need, that you allocated for that vacation. That's just an example. So you won't overspend. You won't be tempted to use the credit card and have interest on it. You had it in that envelope and that's all you're using. That's what the envelope method is to teach you discipline. You cannot go over that. Even with, and that's kind of like even with a bank account, you know, you're going to get them fees if you go over that. But some people are not comfortable with bank accounts, using banks no more, and they're not finding the benefit and they want to keep cash. So this is another method for my cash takers, the people, you know, Allen people, you know, we do that. We do that cash thing, so it is good, and you have to be very disciplined. So just a little bit more about the 50-30-20 rule. Again, this is detailed what we just broke down to you one by one. This is a biblical teaching. I believe it's in Proverbs, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me, but it is, according to the Bible, that you save or you tie 20% of your money and back into your community or yourself, okay? Tithing don't always mean a church. It means to tie into something that's going to yield great fruits. And even if you have to tie it into yourself, into your savings, that's tithing, because a lot of you don't tie into yourself properly. You just buy stuff and think that's tithing. That's instant gratification, and then you're still not fulfilled. You see what I'm saying? So tie into yourself the correct way. All right, so that's the breakdown of this is the zero-based method. More details, we broke that down for you. This is an example of the zero-based method on the screen. Example, zero-based budgeting, based on example of an income of 700. I'm saying, how much is the total? I didn't get the total amount of income. I think it's about $1,800. So you have an envelope for $700. Envelope for utilities, $1,500. Excuse the typo where my rent is over there. Can't be perfect, but we doing good. Utilities for $150. That's what's in that envelope. Now you can't get in a fixed payment plan with your utility company. These are things you can get budgeted. I know people are like, what do you mean utilities goes up and down? Well, since the COVID, I have had my gas at a certain payment plan. So I locked in amount that I was going to pay for the next 2 years because I saw the fluctuation of the gas and utilities. And it was going up so much that I figured in the wintertime, I probably end up paying more than the plan that I selected, which was $140 a month. And I never saw my bill go above that. Now, even sometimes I know that I probably don't use as much, but it still protects me in the economy like this, where literally we don't know what our rate is going to be for gas in the pass-through. You see what I'm saying? So for the last 2 years, I've been paying $140 for gas because I locked in that rate because I saw that the economy was so wishy-washy. That's just an example how you kind of get some things under control, but you have to talk to your utility companies, see what they have to offer you. Food, you have to budget. I know it's very expensive. Everywhere they say you can't even get a bag of grocery for $400 at this point. But what I will say, smart buyers and people who are willing to go the extra length, you end up coming out with more. And the reason why I say that is because this is what I always did. So I'll give you an example. I can make this $400 stretch for the month for about 2 to 3 miles. I have did that with me and my son and my daughter. And not only because we don't eat in gluttony, and we don't eat a lot of junk food. It is about having a controlled diet and not dealing in gluttony. I'm going to be honest. If you deal with gluttony, you like snacks, you ain't going to be able to survive. You got to have some self-control. So what that goes to say, for me to budget myself for 3 people with $400, and I'm spending $150 every other week, and then the last week or towards the last time I can spend a little bit more. I usually will pick and choose what items I buy. I'm giving you an example. I go to Aldi's, I get fresh fruit, fresh meat. A lot of things be off-brand, but they're very healthy. When I go to the regular Kroger store, I know not to go through the aisles and pick up none of that. There's only certain things that I get from the Kroger store, and it could be some particular meats, juices as well that they have on sale, water, canned goods that they may have on sale. What else? I usually make the U in the store. They say if you want to stay healthy, guys, only do the U in the store. Everything in the aisle is processed. But what that goes to say, I only get select items from Kroger, select more items from a place like Aldi's because of the rate, how the expensive, how much their food costs and how healthy it is as well. And then I follow up by getting my household needs from Dollar General and the dollar store. I get cleaning products from there, toilet tissue from there. You know, those things where you don't have to go, because Walmart charge more. So sometimes I'll go to Dollar General and I'll buy all my detergent, all my cleaning products, all my toilet tissue and paper towels, and I won't spend more than $50. And that literally lasts me for 3 months, 2.5 months, because I'm picking what's on sale and I'm getting them all in bulk as well. So that's $50 for 3 months for aluminum foil, paper towels, dish detergent, laundry detergent. Do you see what I'm saying? When one thing at laundry detergent is $8, $12, $13 when you go to these different places, and you can pick one that's, have your selected item on discount. One more place I'm gonna suggest, it's called Max. It's a place up here in Henry County that I found. It's like a whole, not food, but wholesale. And they sell a lot of wholesale products. Look for wholesale stores around you and see what they have that you can buy wholesale that's non-perishable. Soap, those type of things. Dish rags. You don't have to go to the expensive store and go do these things. You can go and buy bulks of them, and then you'll be able to use these as time go on instead of you always having to replace it. So that's some of the ideas, just to give you a real life example. Talked about transportation. All you can do is cross your fingers and pray you ain't in Georgia, because we got high ass insurance. But it all based on your driver record, the type of car you have, and things like that. So you have to be mindful when it comes to that, and try not to get a lot of tickets because it catch up with you. Debt payments. This is an example with the zero base. They put $200 extra, so maybe you're gonna go to the principal or something. Miscellaneous, $150. Reduced from previous spending by identifying unnecessary expenses. Remember we talked about the coffee? The coffee was about $200. There you go. And like I said, if coffee is your only vice, just get a great coffee maker and start to brew it up and see how you can kind of bubble up your milk and do it at home. You do treat yourself, but if you can't compromise sometimes, especially when you have a goal, it's very important to do that. It's only for a little while. And home coffee tastes better than outside. All right, savings, $100, even a small amount is a great start. God only say 20%. How about that? All right. Next, this is a little bit about the envelope method. I broke it down one by one. We're moving through this PowerPoint pretty fast. What time is it? Okay, so we may be able to hit another subject matter for you guys, because I think I have another topic that we could kind of dip and dive into. All right, so identifying areas to cut back, and I'm going to talk to you about how to do that. Identify areas to cut back. This is where the real work begins. Sacrifice. We got to do it. Look closely at your spending categories and identify areas where you can realistically cut back. Utilities. You can do it. I just gave you an example of the utilities. Also, we got another, I have to say, me being a homeschool mom, we're in the house 24 hours a day. But we're mindful. We don't go cutting all the lights on all day, every day. Literally, we use natural lights. And we have our AC and heat set at a certain rate, high and low, so it won't be cutting on and cutting off all the time. That's energy savings. You see what I'm saying? You can cut back on utilities. Cooking 3 times a week, big meals. those type of things. I use an oven to warm up my food. I don't know if that helped me save on electricity, but whatever you can do. I don't use microwaves, but whatever little changes you can make, I promise you will help you. Make sure that your wiring in your home is correct. Make sure that you have energy saving outlets. They have some things that you can plug into the outside of your outlet and help stop power surges, help stop wasteful electricity use. So it's a lot of things that you can do. They have things where you can help heat up your room in your room and not have your heat up so high. So you need to find innovative ways like that. Cut back on entertainment, baby, especially out here in the A. I mean, we got concerts every day, we got things every day, but they have a lot of free stuff. So you don't have to just not do anything. You just have to find what works for you. Like we have our events on Eventbrite. I love Eventbrite. You go on Eventbrite, you can find things to do, networking, seminars like what I provide, Parks and Recs activities, because they have a lot of that. If you are into arts and craft shows, free things, Piedmont Park does that. I know Parks in Jersey used to do the same thing for us. So look for those free events. Go and then move in groups. When you move in groups and you prepare, you save money. You know, you don't have to not go on vacation, but if you got 5 to 10 people willing to go on a package deal with you, you save some money. So those are some of the things. You don't have to not have entertainment, but we have to pick and choose what is our priorities. Food, we went into that already, but as I said, I gave you some example of how to mitigate that. Cook. You don't always have to buy food outside. Usually those foods come with a lot of preservative. I explain to people that basically the foods that you find in your local restaurants are remarkably different from the foods that we buy in the grocery store, even though those are not totally healthy. They have a longer shelf life. They put more preservatives on there because it's bigger bulk and they need to get it to the restaurant. So you think that you're just eating a basic salad or basic things at this place, and they're sprayed down with a whole bunch of things to keep them green. So be careful. They are often a significant expense. Food. So we gotta live out of gluttony, guys. We got to get out of it. All right, utilities. We went into that, identifying conserving energies. I gave you an example. Conserve energy, turning off lights when you leave the room, unplug electronics when not using them, and use energy efficient appliances. You remember your grandma? Well, y'all had a grandma like me. They ain't like shit plugged out. I'm like, y'all gonna even unplug the refrigerator. Shut up. I'm just playing. But there was a method to our grandparents' madness and our parents when they said, unplug that. I used to be like, why should we unplug my charger phone? It ain't bothering nobody. But it's actual wattage that's running through it. And this is what the experts will tell you. All of this information I gave you is sourced. I mean, I do my research. I try to put things together. But these are some of the top things that affects us financially. Lowering the thermostat. Oh my God. And you know what? If y'all were like me, I hope y'all wasn't like me as a child. I used to go and turn up the thermostat. I think my kids do that now. Not my son, but my daughter. I know it. And that's why I've been getting a lot. And I was like, oh, suddenly they figured it out. But there is a method behind that. And that's the reason why I said have a point where you have a high and a low of your electricity heat use, and that helps you save some money. Look for assistance programs. Many utility companies offer programs to help low-income customers pay their bills. As I told you, never wait till it is the last minute. That can be between you and your destiny. That can be between you and you losing your property, losing your lights, having to pay cut-on fees. There are a lot of programs that are in our area and in your area that I think people should not be ashamed of. We are all in different situations and we have different needs. So please don't be afraid to look into that. And the reason why I stress it is because we're in an environment where everybody is like big, they too, and they're perpetrating a fraud. And a lot of people walking around looking a certain way, but then you walk into their home, you walk into their personal, and it's destruction. It's not together. You see, So we have to put the ego down, focus on what our priority is, so we don't lose stuff and have to keep on starting over and over. That goes against you when you don't pay your utility. That goes against you when you can't pay your rent. There's other places that can help you get on your feet. So don't be afraid and utilize the resources. Don't just go there to get the check. Because that same person, that place I did. If I was going to the welfare office, I'm like, okay, I can't pay my utilities, this, that, but you know anybody hiring? They hiring to get a job. Go to extra lift. It will be resources for you. So don't be afraid, y'all. The next PowerPoint, identifying areas to cut back. We talked about entertainment, free activities. I already talked about that, taking advantage of free activities in your community, such as parks, libraries, free event. Shout out to Fulton County. Fulton County Library branches, they are amazing. They allow me to volunteer here as we build our audience and we continue to educate. So volunteer, go read books to the kids around. Yes, that's an activity that our kids need. You can create it for the kids in your neighborhood. You see what I'm saying? So that is included in free activities. Maybe you can create some. You see the kids are doing things to get them in trouble. Their mind is not occupied. Later on, you're saving their mother some jail money or father jail money. That's budgeted and savings, guys. I'm dead serious. It's very important. So free activities is something we need in the community. And I will say, well, one of the things that I suggest is friendly competition, because that's going to get us through. Friendly competition will help us build a healthy ego. And it'll also help us learn how to lose with integrity and still lead in love and see people win. Example, it was something that we once talking about in Newark, where we wanted to have a family day, where we have families against families, father and son against father and son, doing tug of war, doing certain things. And it was bringing the community together, bringing the families together, as well as teaching friendly competition. Also strategic thinking. You see what I'm saying? Build a community. This all deals with budget and saving. Like, how does that connect? It does. Because now you have a whole bunch of people congregating, and they could be someone that you need to get you to your next level. Could be somebody who can get you that next job. And it's just because y'all live freely and lovely in this free activity. I know I went to the left, but it works. It works. That's how we build coalitions. That's how we build things in the community. Borrowing books and movies, using the library instead of buying books and movies. Yes, use the library. That's why I'm here. I love the library. I love everything about reading. I love everything about books. I grew up on Reading Rainbow. Every time I wake up, it's another book. Yes, it's Reading Rainbow. Not only you can get entertainment, you learn about history, but if you're not able to go to these secondary colleges and programs, you can teach yourself. That's how I learned a lot about law before I took a conventional legal nursing consultant class. There was no way I would be able to do that and have 2 kids in college and get them ready. What I'm gonna do? Oh, the library got these old editions that they throwing away. Baby, I got them. I started that from nursing school. I got my first tort book from the library inside of a hospital. And they're like, what are you doing? I'm looking at the old books like, oh snap, this is a law book, a reference book. Get those books, they will help you, you know, and then you can move on and get newer books. Also, the library have all the resources. They got internet for you to look for jobs as well. And honestly, I really, the library has been a great place for me, honestly. Huh? In your laptops?
Free laptops.
Oh, free laptops too. Girl, we're down in Adams Street. Come down here, use their laptop in Fulton County. Free laptops usage. There's no reason why you can't build a future when there's resources. That's what I learned. In Jersey, you know, my favorite library was the Seton Hall University Library, and I wasn't a student. I was going to the hood school, what they call, which wasn't, it was Essex County, and I wanted to focus on law and look at law books, so I would go to the law library by my home, which was Seton Hall, very expensive college, but I got those books. I got the knowledge. I was talking to their students, they thought I was part of it. I was like, what the, you over here reading that? What class you in? We started talking about, I was like, can I get a copy of that syllabus? Hey, you can teach yourself, and that's what the library will do for you. And it'll get you prepared when you actually have the means to get into whatever you want to. So I am bigging up the library because I love it. So potlucks and homemade entertainment. Yes, that's one how we're going to. Remember I don't know, I said remember. On my other platform, I was talking about coming up with neighborhood watch, community-based neighborhood watch. It don't always have to be about crime. It could be about putting community activities together in your neighborhood. Homeschooling. Who needs to be homeschooled? Who's to behave your kids? These type of things. Coming together, having a little cookout. Bring the people together. We ain't got over there just playing, drinking, and we got to talk about these things. Host a potluck with friends instead of going to the restaurant and enjoying board games and movie night at home. A lot of people, before we were able to go into these places where we really had segregation, we had school at home. We had churches at home. So you can do a lot where you're going to spend a lot of money outside. You can bring these things to your home, to your backyard, and even start your business there. So be creative, guys. This is ways that you can cut back and still move forward. That's our goal. We're going to cut back. We're going to restrict, but we're still going to be moving, building steps, building connections, because that's what we need. Please.
I was gonna say, okay, so one of the things I used to do back in the day, because I wasn't ashamed to eat, I was probably a size 6 back then, right? I would find out who was having free food, and I would go.
Like in the area?
So like, Shane's Rib Shack,
Okay.
a certain day of the year, the first, I think like 50 people get like free ribs. I was like 1 through 10.
You see, y'all? See, that was, you can still feed your need. Like I said, go look for these resources. They have it out here. They have the promotions. Even if you struggle, she said she was like, what'd you say? You was like a 5 or a 6? You said you was that small?
Yeah.
She said I was small and I need to find food. So this is how we will find, and I'll do what I have to do. And she could have started a relationship with those people at the place and found a job. So it is good to go look for these resources. Don't be afraid, because when the hunger hits, it's either you can go to the left or the right. Pre-plan, so you can be going down the right path, because we all going through it. Okay? We want to lower the crime as well. So we talked about identify areas to step back. We talked about food, the meal planning. This is going to go into healthy living. Y'all know, if y'all don't know, I'm a health and wellness coach. I specialize in passive weight loss diets, little diets that focus on disorders, diets that's focused on your ethnicity. So I know your diagnosis, whatever it is in the hospital, ethnicity, diet base, and income. And we put a meal plan together for you, because we know that all of us cannot do these high advanced type of things. Meal plan, meal prep. I just told you all you have to do is cook 3 days a week. You can cook chicken, good amount of chicken, turkey, and fish. That's 3 different meats. Then you have 4 sides or 3 sides: white rice, yellow rice, potatoes, vegetables. Or you could do a soup on the side, or a salad, or you could take that meat and make it into a wrap one day. Talking about meal prep, and I literally only talked about 3 base meats. That's it. So that's how I was able to, I showed y'all a $400 income. We could stretch it, because we picked and choose what we ate and didn't build a hunger for the outside food, because it's very addictive, y'all. Very addictive. So meal plans for the week, and create a grocery list based on those meals. Stick to the list to avoid impulse purchases. And we talked about the different grocery stores. You may spend a little bit more just going to the different ones like Aldi's, Carl Kroger, and get the certain things that's on sale, but you stick to your budget. Now you only spend $400 and you can make meals. I'm telling you, home cooked meals is good. Get your sons to cook, get the men to cook. They cook good. Oh my God. Yeah, y'all. I'm telling you, way better than a restaurant. I had to go over there and look at my son right here, my technician and a cooker. Oh my God. When I get older, I'm gonna be happy. All right, train them well. So cooking at home, eating out is something that you want to opt out. Even the fast food, that quickly adds up. Cook at home as much as possible. buy in bulk. But I just say, look for wholesale. They have not even only wholesale places, that I mentioned one that was up in my area, and they should have a lot, some in your area, but also look for farmer markets. Because when it get hot, I go to Atlanta Farmers Market with all the Mexicans, on up with baby. I go down there, I give them $20. You come with 2 big bags full of everything. And they last about 2 weeks, you know, and if you spend $20 every 2 weeks on fruits and vegetables from down there, that is way more budget friendly than you going to the grocery store and buying 1 big bag of orange for $5.99. Go the extra mile, support the small businesses. It don't matter what color they are, it's about what they're doing for the community. So if they have reasonable prices and they're doing right by you, support them. And the reason why I say that, because the system is going to be greatly divided against the rich and the poor. Period. That's what you're seeing. So you're going to have to pick the integrity of the people that you support. If you have mom and pops in your area and you know that they're doing everything they can to produce organic food and they at least charge them reasonable, support them. Support them, guys. We're in a fight. I'm telling you now. And if we keep on supporting these big corporations, we're feeding them and we're not feeding each other. We're not going to get into that totally, but y'all know what I'm talking about. So buying in bulk is really important. Reducing food waste, use leftovers, creative, and store food promptly. This is what I do. My son cooked a great meal on a Monday, and I know I got to work on a weekend. I take my bowl and put it in the freezer because I know I'm working overnight on the weekend and I'm going to need some food, and that food right there hit it. We're going to take that, freeze it, and when it's time for Saturday to come, I'm putting it out and I'm taking it and going. Like I said, we had turkey, we got chicken, we put it over rice. But then I say, yo, I want a taco bowl. We literally could make Chipotle. Go get your $1, you get your, you know, the bowl wrap thing. It's only $2. You go to the dollar store, you know, what type of bread is that? The wraps. Yeah, you go get the wraps, you put your rice on it, that chicken that you already had, get a little, go to Aldi's, a $1.99 salad, put it up there. I'm about to tell you something good. I put a hookup. Holla, the hot peppers on it, baby. You know, remix and you only spend $4 extra because you went to get those little salads. That's how we do it. We had a whole Chipotle with a little bit. Ooh, I like home cooking. Let me stop talking about it. They can't cook. I don't want these restaurants. So consider food bank and partners. Pantries, I do apologize. Don't be afraid to seek assistance if you are struggling. Now, that was one thing too. Be careful. Only reason why I'm careful about certain pantries because they give expired food. We're not about to play with that. We're not about to get sick. We're not that desperate. But there are people in your neighborhood and around you that does do this volunteer. Like, for instance, my neighbors, they do it. And they have a whole garage full of stuff. They're like, you need some canned goods. At first, my pride was like, I don't need that. I don't want that. But then I was like, what the hell? They start coming over? Where the cans at? Hey, you still doing the cans? They're like, yeah. So don't be afraid. Because even though they were giving me more things that I didn't eat too, we were able to give that to someone else who eat them. So just check the expiration dates. Don't be afraid. There's a lot of mom and pops that are government contract to get these foods, and go get them. Go get them. All right. Be creative. Yeah, you want to add something, conversation?
I can get a list if you want to put it for anybody who's in Atlanta. There's a list of food pantries who give food every day.
Okay.
So, you know, some people are, oh, Thursday, I gotta wait till Thursday, but there's actually different groups that give food every day. Yeah.
Well, if you give me the list, email it to me. I'm gonna put it right under the video.
Okay.
That'd be a great resource. I appreciate it. I'm telling you, Adam Valber, come on down. She's amazing. They made me feel so comfortable. And to the fact that I don't live in Fulton County, they still accept me as a volunteer, and I'm able to come to the library. I got a membership, and it's great. You know, so if there are libraries that accept you, go, because different branches got different stuff too, different books. So when I go to certain branches of McDonough, I don't find what I need because the culture is different. So it just depends. You need to diversify, you know, your environment. Like when I go to New York or I go to the library out there, they have different artifacts, different things that we just don't have here. So please be open to that, okay? And we're gonna put that resources down there, okay? That's perfect. All right, strategies of saving money, even small amount of savings. We're coming to the end. I wanna say thank you for being here with us. Today we're only doing an hour seminar. If this can help you, this is what I wanna do. Put these tools in your hand and ideas so you can move forward, because this is the only way we're gonna correct the system if we correct ourselves. We cannot expect our government officials, our leaders, just to correct the whole system. We have to change our eating habit. If we're not buying the junk and that's bad for us, they can't sell it. We won't be dying fast. We won't be paying high hospital bills. I'm saving you money. I'm trying to high hospital bills, okay? So the first thing I want to say, even small amounts of savings can make a big difference. We can make a big difference over time. Here are some strategies to help you start savings. One, pay yourself first. Not a lot, but pay yourself first. If people are like, I'm worth $1 million, especially if you have your own business, pay yourself first if you can. That's after you pay all your stuff. Automate a small transfer from your checking accounts to saving accounts each pay. Even $10 or $20 a paycheck can add up. Remember, the 50-30-20 rule is biblical. You can look in the Bible. God wants us to save 20% and or tithe. Tithe does not mean the church. Tithe means something that will yield beauty, yield goodness to the community. That's what a tithe is. So if you need to tithe into your savings account and do it correctly, that's the same like you tied it into an organization. Think about it like that. Route up your purchases. Use the savings app or bank feature that rolls up your purchases to the nearest dollar and transfer to a difference to your savings account. My bank does that. I like a USAA is cool. I got USAA and another one, Blue Vine. Please look at these banks and some of their agreements, their interest rates. So, all of them are terrible, but Blue Vine got a high interest rate. I liked that. And they got the rollover. Also, the ones that charge you ATM fees, be careful. USAA, because these ATM fees, $5, $6. USAA, even though they don't have a lot of banks around, they reimburse me the USAA fees. So look for banks that give you those things. So it'll be $2.99. They're like, you're going to pay this? I'm like, yep, but I know that USAA, I don't get charged. So look for those type of things. All banks don't charge that. Take advantage of employee benefits. If your employer offers a 401k or other retirement savings, contribute. Even if you can only afford a small amount, especially if they offer matching contribute money, do it. Me being a person that's been a travel nurse and working for myself, this is something I've been having to do myself, and I haven't totally been successful. But the ones that I have started, when I started them and hard times came up, I was able to go in there and handle my business and not lose what I already had. So if you are with a company that's willing to match you some way or somehow with your 401k, it can be something that will be very beneficial, especially if you get laid off or fired and you forget about it, and all of a sudden you get an invoice talking about, you got $10,000 here. You be like, whoa. So just try to do those things and forget about it. Open a high yield savings account. As I told you, Blue Vine is good. USAA is good. Interest rates on savings accounts vary, but they don't give you a lot. That's why we talk about other ways of investing, and that's whatever market that yield assets for you. Bank account, CDs on a low. But I like CDs because they lock in your money and you can't lose that money. And at least you don't go touch it and mess it up. That's what I used to like CDs for. And I found that I use that same method with the tax liens. Like it's held in to a certain, and I can't touch it. So, hey, can't spend it. So find those type of investment that'll lock your money in for a little while, but you won't lose it. And maybe that'll help you have more access to that money. Have access to that money later with a chance of interest, or it'll just show you how to save. Because in the back of your head, you done trained yourself, because you probably thought about it every day of the week, but you can't touch it. So now you got so used to that you probably built that memory cell that money can't be to the side and I don't need to touch it. It's a mind thing too. It's a mind thing. So set savings goals, have a I say specify because I can't get specific out. They can beat my butt. They get on me about that. Shut up. So specify goal in mind can motivate you to save. For example, saving for emergency fund, down payment on a car, on vacation, investment, college, a wedding, whatever. Have a goal, something that means something to you, and start there, okay? Because sometimes when people just put money to the side, they find any little reason to spend it. So put the name on the envelope and leave it, whatever you're planning on, okay? Example, if you save $25 per week, you'll have $1,300 saved in a year. Right there, $25 a week in 1 year, and that taught you discipline, and now you got a little bit to play with. Maybe you can put that in the stock market. You work at McDonald's, you can put $25 away. We spend that on a low by mistake. So right there, that'll help you be able to invest in a year later. It will be okay, because that whole year you taught yourself about whatever you're going to invest in. You learned about the stock market. You learned about that. Learn about whatever you're going to invest in before you do it, guys. I know I stress that. All right. Now, addressing debt. Debt can be a major obstacle to save money. Prioritizing high interest debt. Focus on paying off high interest debt, such as credit cards, credit card debt as quickly as possible. Explore debt relief options. Consider debt consolidation, debt management plans, or credit counseling. I need to look at my eyes are getting blurry or something. I said the screen getting small on me, guys, over here. I need to come over here. Now, excuse me. One of the things I talked about, we're going to just go over point 1 and 2 real quick. Point 1, high priority, prioritizing high interest debt. We were talking to this last week, where I asked our visitor what would they find more suitable to pay off first, $2,500 debt, $4,000 debt, or $10,000 debt. And she calculated a lot of things in her mind, and she said $10,000 because she said the $2,500 because it had the lowest. And I was like, that's good, and I'm so happy that you actually was thinking about different reasons why. But then you take it another step forward, you want to look at the interest rate. So if you got a low interest rate on the $2,500 one, and you got a high one on the $10,000, that $10,000 is double every time. So you may want to hit that $10,000 one and work on that, doing principal payments, or see if you could increase the debt limit on the lower bill and see if they have a debt transfer that is 0 interest for 16 months. Does that make sense? That's how you rob Peter to pay Paul and give you a little bit more time. Because if you stay with that $10,000 budget, $10,000 debt with the 33% interest rate, we done. They got us stuck. That's why I hate and love credit cards. You got to know how to use it. So exploring debt relief options, like I just gave you an example, you can consolidate, you can do a transfer balance if you qualify for it, but it got to make sense. You don't do a 16-month transfer balance if you don't have income. Maybe for that to hold you over, but you got to get income, because that right there is going to double up for you in 16 months. And you'll be right back to the same situation. So debt management plan, just like what we talking about, credit counseling, negotiate lower interest rate. You can do that. Okay, and I don't want to tell you I don't pay your hospital bills, but it don't go on your credit. I don't know what, baby, you go to the hospital, and I don't want to hear this. This is what I'm going to tell you now. This is the most important thing I'm going to tell you. Never tell me you can't go to the hospital because you can't pay your bills. I've heard people say that they literally on their deathbed and afraid to go to the hospital because they don't want to get a hospital bill. Go. As long as the law says that it ain't going to go on your credit report, go get that hospital treatment. Talking from a healthcare perspective, it hurts me to hear that. Okay? Go. Even if you don't have insurance, they must take care of you. All right? And you can negotiate that later. I'm going to give you an example. Hospital bill. My son took ill when he was younger, and I forgot his insurance. I didn't have the insurance. It was in Jersey, and I was in a situation happened in PA. So I had to get a transfer or something with the medical insurance I had. And it took a little while, but while they were waiting, I was getting bills, $10,000, $15,000. I was like, All of a sudden they saw I wasn't paying attention. $4,000. I said, wait, isn't this the same doctor? How this went from 10,000 to 4,000? And it says no non-insured payer bill amount. Know the system, y'all. Know the system. I said, oh, so this service ain't worth $10,000. Pay attention, y'all. Know the market. So don't stress yourself about certain things. I'm not telling you don't pay your bills, but prioritize what's going to go on your credit report, especially if you're trying to build it up. I won't spend all my money to pay the credit. I won't pay hospital bills before I pay credit bills. I won't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't pay the hospital bills before you feed yourself. Okay? Sorry. So contact your creditors and ask if they're willing to lower your interest rate, because that's literally what these counselors do. That's what they get paid to do. You can go right online and get a template letter and send to all your creditors and get them to negotiate with you. And there's letters that you can send out to get negative items removed off of your report, such as inquiries. And that's some of the things we'll talk about. Those inquiries that go against you, get them removed. So you can do that. It's like a two-step process. So we get down to the last two PowerPoints. Seek assistance when needed. Very important. We are living in a big head era. Everybody big boss and big backing. And we really not, because the numbers are showing it. Our average income, yes, I do, and I haven't looked this year, but I do believe us as a middle class, we're averaging about 70,000, 60,000, and we need 120 just to live a regular life on inflation. Not to mention that black men is at an income rate of $50,000 on the books together. We got to do better. Seek assistance. Don't be afraid, because that person can get you to your next level. Humble yourself. Seek assistance when needed. Don't be afraid. Seek help from government programs, community organizations. Supplement nutrition assistance programs, SNAP, temporary assistance for needy family, TANF, low income energy assistance program. I have did that. All three of these programs I have used, even when I was in nursing school. Help me. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. I got some temporary virtual assistance. Do I live on it forever? No, because that's what I needed to get me to that next level, and they had some resources to help me. Don't be afraid, but don't be dependent on it. Local food banks, we're going to be able to share some information for all of our Atlanta family. All Atlanta family, we will be able to share with you so you guys can have resources. Housing assistance program, help low-income individuals and family afford houses. And now we don't have a lot of first home buyers. We do have general first home buyers program, but they do have government assistance programs that you may have to go through a little red tape, but it'll be well worth it. So don't be afraid to go to your chambers of commerce, go to your government officials who deal with contracting and things like that. They will be able to help you with some of these programs, because these programs will help you. They will even help you to get your business into a particular space. So don't be afraid to ask questions. Go to your government that you pay taxes to. They're not too big for you. I stress that, y'all, because they be acting too big, like, to talk to y'all, and y'all voted for them. Stay, and last but not least, stay consistent. Stay consistent and be patient. Building a budget and saving money takes time and effort. Don't get discouraged if you experience setbacks. The key is to stay consistent, be patient with yourself, and celebrate your progress along the way. Remember that every small step you take towards financial stability is a victory. Because I'm not the same person I was years ago. You won't be the same person you are today. And the more that you build and learn, you're going to be a better person in the future. So I think that's it. That's what we have to present. I thought this wasn't going to take an hour, but I talked so much. I got to the hour point, y'all. So I do want to say thank you so much for being part of this today. Last name again?
Hersey.
Ms. Kershew?
Hersey.
Harzies. Ms. Harzies is one of the library representatives here. She has helped us set this up. I am so grateful for Ms. Harzies. I'm gonna put her contact information at the bottom of the video. It's also located on a flyer to contact the library, not only just to come to these seminars, but to ask her questions. What resources we have. Obviously, she just said we have a whole bunch of food pantries and everything. She's at the library. This is not the welfare office, but it's resources here. If you're going through a hard time, guys, I'm not saying that this is counseling and everything, but when I was going through a lot of hard times, I stayed a lot of times in the library. And it gave me a chance to utilize my time correctly, to train my brain, and actually to decompensate all of the hard things that I was going through, because the library was beautiful that I was going to, just like this one. So there's a lot that can be done at the library, and I just want to stress that. I feel like singing that song again. I'm such a geek. It's in a book. It's reading rainbow. All right, y'all. Have a great day. Thank you for being with us. Okay, you can stop it. All right. Thank you so much. We pray every day, every week is going to get better and better. The video I had released last week, I got a lot of good